Coast Guard has received a report of a 25-foot long, 2 feet in diameter tree that is floating 2 miles off the coast of Madison, Connecticut, in position 401 degrees, 14.496 north, 072 degrees, 35.517 west.
Good.
All mariners transit the area with caution. U.S. Coast Guard Central London sound out.
So anyway, where are we today? Today, it's Sunday. Now, at 10 o'clock, it was pouring rain, and it is now 11:42. Again, I've been out here a little bit already. Forgot to turn the camera on. Sorry, guys. I really don't care anyway. But meanwhile, it is now 11:43 a.m. East Coast, and it is April 29th, 2018, which is Sunday. And it looks like the sun is trying to break, and I hope it does, because I do have to take a run down to Home Depot. Yes. Again, I hate going to Home Depot on a weekend, because that's when you seem to find all the homeowners that shouldn't be. It's kind of tough getting around them and dealing with them. But anyway, I mean, we all have our problems, I'm sure. You know, I know I get on people's nerves. But anyway, other than that, I want to go down there, and I got to pick up a few pieces of some heavy duty. I don't necessarily need pressure treated. It is going outside. But I find the pressure treated plywood that I get at Home Depot sucks. I mean, it really does. We built something with it, and I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 sheets. And all I did, or we did, was built a little thing over there in the kennel for the boys to lay on or in, or under, if they wanted to do so. You know, it's under a tree and stuff like that. Well, before the season was up, and I mean, we did this in like, I believe, June, July, and before the season was up, this plywood was warping. I mean, it was getting all kinds of slivery looking and everything. I'll show it to you someday when I'm out there. It's a nightmare. So, and why spend good money for this stuff? Now, I built that thing that I had over there that I showed you guys a few videos back on, the thing I built for the boys that I tore up. You know, I have to build a new one. And I built that back, oh Jesus, when we just had Tucker. So we're going back 10 years or better. Yeah? And I added to it naturally as the boys got adopted. But that, I was going to probably venture to say the whole thing was about 8 years old. And all I did was paint it. And I never painted it again after that. That was it. Done. And this year here, the top of it was fine, but one of the platforms started to rot. So I said, you know what, if that one platform is starting to rot, I might as well just rip it down and do the whole thing, build a new one. And that's what it is. So here's something that I painted. Now, I did paint it with an oil-based paint. And when I primed it, I mixed the oil base with quite a bit of subterps. You know, made it not watery, but made it really thin. So when I put it on, it soaked right into the wood, basically. It was almost like, you know, okay, I see a color, almost like a whitewash type thing, you know. But what happens is when that penetrates the wood, it starts to do two things. One, protect it. Two, it gives the second coat something to stick to. It adheres to the first coat that's now soaked into the wood, so you got a good bite. See, a lot of people think I'm just going to put a nice heavy coat on it and I'll be all set. Well, that heavy coat is not going to adhere to that wood like a thin coat would. And what's going to happen is, as soon as that thin coat or that heavy coat starts to get any type of moisture or wear, or that wood beneath starts to get a little damp, it's going to peel right off. And that's what happens. So I always thin it out because I want to see it soak in. Even if I got to do it twice, you know what I mean? I want to see it soak in. And then the second coat isn't heavy, but it's just a shade thinner than what comes out of the can, so that it'll spread a little bit easier. And you don't have to lay it on heavy because you're not trying to cover anything. You're just, well, you're covering, but you're not trying to do all in one, if you know what I mean, because it's going to stick and cover better. That's like when you spray a product. Multiple thin coats is better than one heavy coat. And you want your thin coats to be just a point of tackiness, because, or a little beyond tackiness, you know, almost to a point of cure, but not, because you want the second coat to stick to that. And if it's already cured, the second coat won't stick to it as well as if it was tacky. So, and then you do another tack coat, and then you gradually bring up your tack coats. It'll help prevent it from running, and it'll give you a shinier, cleaner finish. So meanwhile, I got the camera hooked up here. I got to tie in all the wires today out here. Problem is, I got to figure out exactly where I'm going to put it. Actually, talking to you, I just found a place. I'm going to put it up here on the wall right there. Right there, right under that Staples phone number. I'll put it right over that. I don't need Staples phone number on the wall. And it's out of the way. It's back there. I have more than enough wire, and I don't have to worry about it. And it does come with the brackets to do so, so it's not a big deal. It's not heavy, so I don't have to worry about hitting a stud or anything like that. So we should be okay at this point. I did sync it so that the camera that's connected to this one is also connected to the one in the house. So the one in the house is seeing two pictures. It's seeing the picture from this camera and the other picture from the house camera, which is up here in the eave, up in the peak, shining down. Which you've seen that short little clip I did on that. And that's it. Now the clarity of this is not showing on the camera as clear as it actually is, but if I pull the SD card out and like I did the other one, you would see just how clear it actually is. So it definitely gives a nice, sharp, clear picture. As you guys have commented on. So I kind of like it, and I'm glad I bought the second unit. Yeah, I spent a little bit more money. I was going to buy a second camera and put it where it is and have it, and I've told you this story before, and have it hooked up to the monitor in the house so that I can see both at the same time. You know, at that point, either I can have it switch or split. And in the house, I just have it split because, believe it or not, the monitor is clean enough and it's big enough to where you can get two good pictures. Now, the monitor in the house is probably 3 to 4 feet away from me, so it's not a problem. If it was any further than that away, I would probably have it switch because I would need the bigger picture. So I got it wired into that one. Now, when I did that, however, I lost it out here. So I had to resync this one, or I forgot what they call it. Hold on, pairing. I had to repair this one. Now, when they talk pairing, here's how easy it is. First, if you plug in this first, then plug in the camera on camera 1, it'll automatically find it. I mean, it'll just pop right up automatically. As long as the antennas are hooked up, it'll find it. And you're within distance. But if you want to add another camera or it doesn't find it, you hit the menu button and there's a pairing over here. So you just use the arrows to get to the pairing, and then you hit the OK button and it starts a countdown from 50. So you basically have 50 seconds to plug the camera in. So you could do it with the camera being right next to you and you just plug it in, and then later, you know, you can hook it up and it should be okay. Or try to keep it within, or at least 50 seconds. The one in the house, it took me about 35 to 40 seconds to get out to the camera, unplug it, wait a couple seconds, and plug it back in again. And then that was fine. So I made the deadline, so to speak. So that's all you have to do. I mean, it's simple. You know, it's not a big deal. I mean, they can't make it any easier. The only thing I may do here is, because I noticed at night, see, this is fine for me right now, because this is working. If anybody or the UPS or anybody was to come up to the gate, because some of the UPS drivers know to come up to the gate, and when the boys start to bark, Lance will come in and get me, let me know that there's somebody out there. You know, or I'd have to get up and turn around and kind of move over a little bit so I can look out the window. So this is going to come in handy for letting me know if there's anybody out and about there. But when I'm in the house and at night, the night vision isn't quite strong enough to get it out there nice and bright to the area right here that I wanted to see.